What's up, y'all? It's your homeboy, whatever, man. I'm just out here chilling. It's a frosty ass day out here in Columbus, Ohio. You can see all the snow and shit in the background. It's like 30 degrees. I'm on my lunch. I'm not on my lunch break. I'm taking a break from work, but I'm not on break. You feel me? Because I don't have nothing to do right now. And I'm working through my lunch. I got something scheduled on my lunchtime. So, technically, I guess I am on lunch. However you want to look at it. But man, I'm just out here doing what I do, smoking a nub 460 Connecticut, you know. Man, boxing gets on my nerves, man. I've been watching boxing my whole life, man. My dad used to order the fights when I was a kid, you know. Grew up watching all the good shit, you know. Back in the days of Mike Tyson, Holyfield, Roy Jones, shit, Pernell Whitaker, you know what I'm saying? Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., not Jr. um, Hector Macho Camacho. Bro, the list goes on and on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? But so it's been ingrained in me since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? But this current state of boxing, man, like there's several reasons that boxing annoys me. One, there's still too many champions. Nobody wants to unify, you know, and be undisputed and all that. You know, you got places like the WBC that keeps making belts. You know, they came out with the franchise championship, gave it to a few people, you know, Canelo and Lomachenko. It was supposedly that you didn't have to fight no mandatories. You could lose technically, right? You would lose and your belt technically wasn't on the line. So the person that beat you couldn't take over the championship, right? So then what happens? Devin Haney becomes the WBC champion. And then you got Lomachenko as the franchise champion. Lomachenko loses, right? And then he loses to Teofimo Lopez. They give Teofimo Lopez the franchise championship. And then they say Devin Haney ain't really the WBC champ. So there was that confusion. And I don't even know where that went. Once they said that, once Lopez became the franchise champion, which technically when they first came out with it, I guess they just thought they franchise champions was never going to lose until they retire. So when they came out with that franchise championship, they said they couldn't lose it. But somehow Teofimo became the franchise champion. And then they tried to basically take away Devin Haney being the regular WBC champ or whatever. At this point, I don't even know what they call it anymore because they got too many damn titles. So, you know, stuff like that. You know, I stopped following the whole situation then. Then you got people that don't, you know, nobody wants to make the fights. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. Is this going to be the next great showdown that we missed? You know, we already missed out on Wilder and Anthony Joshua. We missed out on Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. You know, and you'll say, well, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fought. But yeah, you know, way past their primes. You know, and when they did fight, Floyd won convincingly. I don't care what anybody says. Floyd won convincingly. It's my opinion. You know, And then they didn't do a second fight. You know, Pacquiao claimed, you know, his shoulder was messed up or whatever. They didn't do a second fight. So we never really got what we wanted there. You know what I'm saying? So boxing continues down this path where we don't get the fights that we want to see. You know? When's Canelo gonna fight one of the Charlo brothers? You know, he never fought none of the Charlo brothers. Didn't seem to have him on his radar. I don't know, man. I mean, there's a few fighters out there that, you know, people like Sean Porter that fight the best every time they can. But a lot of these guys, they don't fight nobody, man. Or you got a guy like Canelo that had a whole run over a course of probably, I don't even know how many years now, where he probably 4 or 5 years where he just had all these little clauses and stuff, you know, had people fighting him. He's defending titles at catch weights and throwing in rehydration clauses and all kinds of little shit, you know, to have an advantage in the fight. So, you know, we don't want fights fair and square. Now you got this shit going on. You got the shit going on, like, where basically everybody's fighting exhibition fights. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the money is there, obviously. People is ordering this shit. You know, what did you really expect from Tyson and Roy Jones? Although it was entertaining and I enjoyed it. You know, these young fighters not getting in there and fighting allowed that fight to come back and be like a top grossing pay-per-view. Man, you got two 50-plus-year-old dudes, one who ain't fought in at least 10 years, and the other one, you know, they both retired. They done moved on. Roy came in there looking like he just got off the couch and had a couple of beers before he came to the ring. But, you know, the opportunity is there for these type of fights to happen. You got YouTubers fighting. You got Clarissa Shields is going to transfer over to MMA now. Like, in the prime of her career. Man, boxing is just, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. Then, you know, you got you had a basketball player fight a YouTuber on pay-per-view. Basketball player gets knocked the fuck out by the YouTuber. Now you got boxers calling out the YouTuber because, come on, man. Like, if he'd have been in there with a real fighter, he'd have got knocked the fuck out. All entertainment, right? But people, for whatever, want to see that. So now they want to see Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul. Or whatever, whichever one of them. I don't even know which one of them it is. I don't even know who's who. I just know the YouTubers. Even an old Floyd. There is absolutely no reason that this Paul dude should land a single punch on Floyd Mayweather in this exhibition fight. But, you know, people want to see it. And it's probably going to be sanctioned to where it further pads his 50-0 record. You know, which he ended his career against Andre Berto. Conor McGregor, some Japanese MMA dude. I don't even know if that one counted. I don't even remember, but I know Conor McGregor counted on his record. If you was going to go for whatever reason is considered to be the best record in boxing, to call yourself the greatest of all time, you don't even end on a note, you know, against a real boxer, against one of these young cats. If Floyd would have beat one of these young cats, I'd instantly have no issues with him being called the greatest ever. But that's beside the point, man. Boxing's on some bullshit. They continue to allow it to happen. And it's no end in sight for this shit. You know? That's my issues with boxing right now. And then you can't ever get a straight story on anything. Not naming no names. But I see stuff come out, this fight isn't going to happen. Then the very next day, somebody posts the same video, the same person will post a video like, well, such and such said this. And then the very next day, they post another contradicting video. Like, so even in the, in the media world, man, we can't even get a straight answer. And not just media, and not just YouTube, like, even the mainstream media. You can't get a straight answer on anything. It's all a gigantic game. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just frustrating as fuck, man. And you hear people say all the time, boxing is dead or boxing is a dying sport. Boxing could be great. However, we continue to allow this type of bullshit to happen. And in defense of the people who do make, like videos about it and stuff, that aren't mainstream media, we can only go off the information that we get. And there's so much skewed bullshit out here that ain't the truth. What's anybody supposed to say? You gotta, if you want to be consistent on your channel and keep, your viewership up, you gotta post videos. So you gotta post with the information that's out there and just hope that you got a decent source. It's just crazy, man. We need some normalization, some consistency in boxing. Save the sport. Bring back fights in the middle of the week. Ain't shit on TV on Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's get some fights like it used to be back in the day. Stop throwing everything on pay-per-view. Pay-per-view should be reserved for the biggest fights, the ones that nobody wants to have anymore. Since nobody really wants to fight anybody. You get bullshit. It's too much bullshit going on. I'm tired of it. It annoys me. I continue to support the people that I support because I'm invested in supporting them. But outside of that, man, for the time being, boxing can kiss my ass, man. Real. I'm sick of it. So hopefully we get some good fights, some big fights. We get some people starting to fight each other. If we have another situation like where we don't get Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence say he only hanging around for a few more fights and then he's moving up in weight. I mean, you expect a man to wait for the Terrence Crawford fight forever? But at the same time, he ain't called Terrence Crawford out in the ring at the end of his last fight. Which, you coming back from an accident and all that, I guess part of that is understandable, but at the same time, you don't mention his name at all as somebody that you want to fight. Like, he wouldn't mention him at all. So how pressing are these fights? You know what I'm saying? How much are these fighters really pressed to give us the fights that we want? And I know a lot of it has to do with the promoters. Get Bob Arum's old ass out of here. Al Heyman, step it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Somebody mentioned the other day, like, if Don King was still the man, we'd be getting fights. And if you think back to that era when Don King was promoting, and he had King Vision and all that, for his pay-per-view. There's a lot of hell of a good fight cards. Incredible matches. Like, the whole fucking pay-per-view card would be stacked. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just living in the past. It's your homeboy, Whatever Man. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Whatever Man. WHATEVA_man. And I'm gone.